Morning all. Welcome to the lecture series of our signal and system, in which we were talking about the property of systems. We have classified our system in many categories like static and dynamic system, causal non-causal system, linear non-linear system, time variant time invariant system. In this lecture we will be talking about the remaining properties like system stability, where we will see how to find whether the given system is stable or unstable, and then we will see few examples. Talking about the system stability, whenever we are discussing about system stability, it is generally discussed in terms of BIBO stability. That is bounded input, bounded output. Suppose we have given a system YT, system response YT equal to XT. Now, when we need to cross check it, the stability of the system, we will bound our input. So we will see my input is finite. So when my input is finite, let xt is equal to ut, and then we will cross check the value of yt. For a bounded input, if my output is also bounded, that is for a finite input, if my output is also a finite, it is diverging at a point, then we will see the system is a stable system. Otherwise, the system will be unstable in nature. For example, yt equal to xt. So if I am bounding this xt, that xt is equal to ut, and ut is having the maximum value is 1 from 0 to infinite. So my xt is bounded because it is having the maximum value at 1 even at t equal to infinite. So the yt will also be bounded, right? Because the yt will also be having the maximum value 1 only. So this given system will be stable in nature. Talking about another example, txt. Now in this case, if I'm considering xt is equal to ut, I am bounding my input xt. So the new yt will be, in this case, it will be t of ut. And if you will plot its response, it will be something like this. So for t equal to infinite, yt will be infinite. So for bounded input, output is not a bounded signal. So that's why this txt will be my unstable system. So if for a given input, for a given bounded input, if my output is bounded at every bounded input, it will be my stable system. Otherwise, the system said to be unstable in nature. Mathematically speaking, we have given a system response yt or yn. In terms of discrete signal, we have been given a yn, and for continuous time signal, the system response will be yt, which is depending on xt. So in the discrete time, if you are talking about the BIBO stability, for every n, if my xn is bounded, that is mode of xn is less than some given value of mx, and that mx is finite value, that is less than infinite, then for all the given n, yn will also be finite. Only then the system will be stable. Mx and my could be of different points, but they has to be finite in nature. That is, if I am binding my inputs xn, let in between -1 to 1, then yn could be bounded in some other range, but it has to be finite. For example, again let consider a yn equal to 2 of xn, and if our xn is bounded in between -1 to 1, then yn will be bounded in between -2 to 2. Still it is a finite value. So you can say in the xn case, in the input case, our input was bounded in between -1 to 1, that was some different values, whereas the yn is bounded in between -2 to 2, that is some separate value, but both the case the values are finite. So the system is stable in nature, and the same thing will be applicable on my continuous time signal as well. So this is how we will be considering the BIBO stability. Now we will have some examples and we will try to find out the stability as well as the other property that we have discussed till now. Generally in the LTI system, that is linear time invariant system, where we have the input xt, system response h, and the system output yt. It could be yn as well. Till now, we were talking about the BIBO stability in terms of input-output relation. Sometimes we have also given the impulse response of the system, that is the X. So even depending on the impulse response, we can also comment on the system stability. So for discrete time system, the system will be stable if modulus of hk, k minus infinite to infinite, is my absolutely summable and having a finite value. So if this summation is finite, that is less than infinite, we will say that the given system is stable. If the summation is not finite, the given system will be unstable. And the same principle will be applicable on my continuous time signal, where we are talking about the integration from minus infinite to infinite h tau d tau. And this has to be finite in nature. Now let's discuss a few examples. The first one is yt equal to x of t plus 2 minus x of t minus 2. And for all these examples from A to H, total 8 examples, we need to comment on the system properties.
Sir,
That is causal, non-causal,
sir,
linear, non-linear, static, dynamic, time variance, and stability. So let's discuss the first one. So the first one is yt equal to x of t plus 2 minus x of t minus 2. First we need to check for static and dynamic function. Now we will assume some value of t. Let we are talking about y of 1, t equal to 1. So y1 will be x3 minus x of minus 1. So even by seeing the function, we can comment on the static and dynamic property of the function, because this is my time advance signal, which is depending on the future value. This is time delay signal, which is depending on the past value. Since yt is depending on both past and future value of input, the given system is having the memory. It has to remember the previous values and the next values. So that's why the system is dynamic in nature. So we can say the system is having memory, or the system is dynamic system. Since the system is depending on the future value, the given system will be non-causal in nature, because for the causal system, it should depend on present and past values. But for non-causal system, it is depending on future values as well. And since here it is depending on the future value, we can say the given system in non-causal. Talking about the time variance. In the time variance, what we discussed is we will impose the delay in the output, and we will see what is the output in that case. In the second case, first we will delay our input by the same time interval, and then we will pass it to the system, and we will note the output. If both the outputs are equal, the system will be time invariant, otherwise the system will be time variant. So in this case, when we are first delaying the output means we are simply replacing t extend to t minus t naught. So in this case, it will be x of t minus t naught plus 2 minus x of t minus t naught minus 2. This is when we have delayed the output. So we are simply replacing t by t minus t naught. When we are delaying the input first and then we are passing it to the system, so the output will be, in that case, this will be x of, since we are delaying the input, so simply x of t minus t naught, and then system response, that is plus 2, minus x of delaying the input t minus t naught, and then system response, that is minus 2. Both the signals are equal, so we can say the system is time invariant in nature. The system is time invariant. So till now we can say the system is having memory, it is non-causal system, and it is time invariant system. Now let's discuss about stability and linearity property. For stability, we can bound our input. So let my input xt is equal to ut. So when xt is ut, my input is bounded now. And now we will cross check the yt, and we will see whether for this given bounded input my output is bounded or not. So the ut is something like this. The value is 1. First one is x of t plus 2. X of t plus 2 is time advance signal. It will be something like this, minus 2 to infinite. This is representing x of t plus 2. And then x of t minus 2. X of t minus 2 is time delayed signal. Yt is my x of t plus 2 minus x of t minus 2. So when we will subtract this signal after t plus 2, here, this will be cancelled out, because we are subtracting this part. So what will be the yt that we are getting here is something like this, minus 2 to 2 only. That is my yt. And we can say for bounded input, my yt is also bounded. For all the value of t, yt is having the finite value. So the given system is stable in nature. Talking about the linearity, so the system will be linear because simply depending on x of t only. So we can cross check the superposition theorem, or even you can cross check it individually in terms of additive property and homogeneity property. So when you will check it using superposition, you will say alpha x1t plus beta x2t when you are passing individual signal through the system should be equal to when you are passing the summation of this signal from the system, and these two has to be equal and the system will be linear. So the given system is linear and stable in nature. Let's consider the second example, yt equal to sine of xt. Now in this case, first we are talking about the static and dynamic function. So for y1, it is depending on sine of x of 1, y0 depending on x of 0, y minus 1 depending on x of minus 1. So for all the time, it is depending on present input only. So the given system is static or memoryless. Talking about the causal and non-causal system, since it is depending on present input only, the system will be causal. Talking about time variance, when we are varying the output, so varying the output means yt minus t naught, or delaying the output, it will be sine of xt minus t naught, and when we will be delaying the input and then we will pass it to the system, response will be same. The system will be time invariant. Talking about the stability, yt equal to sine of xt. Even if we will take any bounded input of xt, sine theta is always bounded in between -1 to 1. So if you will see the sine theta response, it is something like this, where it is always bounded in between -1 to 1. So for all the bounded input, output will always be bounded. So the system is stable. Talking about the linearity. So for linearity, we can go for the homogeneity and additive property. So first let's discuss about the additive property. So for this question, we are considering the individual property. You can even go for the combined superposition theorem as well. So first we are talking about the additive property. So for the additive, what we discussed is that x1, we are passing through the system. What is the system response? It is saying output is equal to sine of input. So the output will be sine of x1, sine of x1t. Similarly, for second input, output will be sine of x2t. And the summation of these two, y1 plus y2, this will be sine of x1t plus sine of x2t. Sine of x1 plus sine of x2. This will be our equation 1. Talking about the second part, that is first we will add these two signals and then we will pass it through the system. So we are passing x1 plus x2 to my system, and system response is sine of input, and input here is nothing but x1 plus x2, x1t plus x2t, that is the system input. So output will be sine of x1 plus x2. So this is sine of a plus b, and when you will open it, you will come to know this is not an equal. Both are not equal. So the given system is not a linear system. And that even you can simply say, because all the trigonometry functions, sine, cosine, tan, cot, sec, they are not a linear function. So since it is not fulfilling our additive property, the given system is non-linear. Now in any given case, if the additive property is being fulfilled, then we will say the given system might be a linear system if it is satisfying the homogeneity as well. So there we will cross checking the both the property, and if both the properties are satisfied, only then we will say the given system is linear system. So for this, the given system is non-linear, right? So we can say it is a static and memoryless function. It is a causal function, time invariant, non-linear, and stable. Let's have another example. Yt equal to integration minus infinite to t x tau d tau, and see whether the given systems are static or dynamic, causal, non-causal, time variance, linear, stable or not. So first, when we will cross check it for the given system, for the static, when we will put t equal to 1, y1 is depending on x of 1, y0 is depending on x of 0, y minus 1 is depending on
x of minus 1. So we can say in this all the cases the system is depending on the present input. But since we are having the integration where we are integrating the signal from minus infinite to t, that is it has to remember the previous value, because for t equal to 1, y1 will be x depending on x1 only, but it has to remember the previous value from minus infinite to 1 as well. So that's why the given system is having the memory, since it is depending on the past inputs. So this is a dynamic system which is depending on present and past value. Since it is depending on present and past value, the system is my causal system. It is not depending on the future. That's why it is not a non-causal. It is a causal system. Talking about the time variance.
So first, when we are saying that we are varying the or we are delaying the output, so we are replacing t by t naught. So it will be minus infinite to limit will be now t minus t naught, because we need to replace t by t minus t naught. Signal will be x tau d tau, because it is not xt, it will be x tau d tau. So we can put t minus t naught equal to m. Y of m is from varying from minus infinite to m, x tau d tau. We can write it something like this. It is the same thing. Second case, so this is like equation 1. In the second case, when we are varying the input, in this case, we are changing the delay in the input only. So it will be from minus infinite to t only, but my input is being delayed here, x of tau minus t naught d tau. So what we can write, we can say tau minus t naught is equal to m. So we can say d tau will be equal to dm. So that is minus infinite to t xm dm. And we can say both are equal. The functions are equal. That's why the given system is time invariant in nature, because it is equal to y of t minus t naught. Similarly, when we will go for stability, in the stability part, let's xt is equal to ut. So when x tau is equal to ut or u tau, integration of ut is nothing but my rt function. So integration of ut will be rt and yt will be something like this. So for t equal to infinite, yt will be infinite. So for my bounded input, where we considered xt is equal to ut, my yt is not a bounded. It is unbounded. So the given system will be unstable. So we can say the given system is dynamic. It is a memory signal. It is causal, time invariant, linear, and unstable. Next one, yt equal to x 2t y5. Is it dynamic or static? Y minus 1 is depending on x of minus 0.4. Minus 0.4 is bigger than minus 1. In the case of positive, it is depending on past. So it is depending on both past, present, and future. If for any given time, it is depending on future value, that will be non-causal. If it is depending on only present and past value, that signal will be my causal signal. So this is a dynamic and non-causal. Is it time variant or time invariant? Whenever we have given the time scaling in the input, the signal will always be time variant in nature. What does it mean? That part we have already discussed. Like while we will be delaying the output, that is y of t minus t naught, this will be equal to x of 0.40 minus 0.4 t naught, because we are replacing t by t minus t naught. And while we will be delaying the input first and then we will pass it to the system. So the system response is saying input x of 0.40. So this will be x of 0.40 and then delaying the input t naught. Since both are not equal, the system is my time variant. First case is when we are delaying the output, we are simply replacing the t by t minus t naught. And in the second case, we are first delaying the input and then we are passing to the system. The detail part we have already seen in our previous lectures. So if somebody is having doubt that how we are delaying the input and we are getting the response, you can check our previous lectures. So this is time variant system. Linear, it will be linear in nature, x2t plus 5, and it will be stable. Because if I'm talking about xt is equal to ut, 2t by 5,
That is, the time scaling will only compress and expand the signal. It won't affect my amplitude of the signal. So in that case, if it is compressed or extended one, yt will also be bounded. The system is having memory. It is non-causal, time variant, linear, and stable. Next example, yt equal to dxt by dt. And we need to again cross check for all the properties. Now in this case, is it static or memoryless? That will depends on the value of xt. The differentiation is generally given like dxt upon dt is nothing but limit t delta t x tend to 0, and we are writing this in terms of xt minus of x t minus del t divided by delta t. This is a general term of any differentiation. So in this case, we can say yt is depending on
past values.
past value of xt. Here it has to remember the previous value. So that's why the system is with memory or dynamic system. Since yt is depending on present and past value, it will be causal system. So it is causal and dynamic. Talking about the time variance, first we will delay the output. So we will say yt minus t naught. So this will be dx t minus t naught. Since we are delaying the output, so we are replacing t by t naught. So it will be d of t minus t naught. If I am putting t minus t naught equal to tau, so this will be dx tau upon d tau. So this is the yt that we are getting. Second case, when we are varying the input. So when we are varying the input, in this case, it will be yt comma t naught. So we just only delaying the input x of t minus t naught divided by dt. So again, if I am putting t minus t naught equal to tau, dt will be d tau. So we can write this as a d of x tau divided by d tau. Both are equal. So the system is time invariant. Talking about the linearity, it is simply depending on xt, and the differentiation and integrations are not affecting the linear property that we have already seen in our previous lecture. So this will be linear in nature. And for stability, let's consider xt is equal to ut. And when we are considering xt is equal to ut, the differentiations will be delta t, which is unbounded system. So for bounded input, my yt is not a bounded one. So this is unstable. So this is time invariant, linear, and unstable. Talking about the next one, yt equal to 0 when xt is less than 0, yt is equal to xt minus x of t minus 2 when xt is greater than equal to 0. Again, we need to cross check all the properties. So this you can solve by your own. So the given system will be dynamic, causal, time invariant, linear, and stable. Same is with the next one, txt, where the system will be static, causal, time variant, linear, and unstable. That's all for today. And this complete your properties of signal and system. In the next lecture, we will start our Fourier series.